It was raining the day Aiden met Lily. Not the soft, poetic kind of rain. It was a heavy, chaotic downpour that blurred the city into streaks of silver. Aiden, soaked from head to toe, stood under a coffee shop awning trying to protect his sketchbook from the storm. That's when she stumbled in, hair dripping, laughter bubbling out despite the weather. She looked like a piece of sunlight that had lost its way into a gray day. "Quite the weather for inspiration!" "Ha!" she said, noticing his sketchbook. Aiden smiled shyly. "Depends on the kind of inspiration you're looking for." And just like that, the storm outside became irrelevant. Lily was studying literature. Aiden was an aspiring illustrator. They started meeting at that same coffee shop every Friday, him with his sketchbook, her with her notebook. She'd read him fragments of her writing, and he'd sketch scenes inspired by her words. Their friendship unfolded naturally, like ink spreading on paper. They'd talk for hours about art, life, and dreams. Hers was to write a novel. His was to illustrate one. Somewhere between the laughter, shared silences, and countless cups of coffee, love found its quiet way between them. But neither said it out loud. Perhaps both were too afraid to ruin the comfort of what they already had. One evening, as they walked home after another rainy day, Lily suddenly stopped. "Do you ever think about what we'll become?" she asked softly. Aiden looked at her. The rain had left tiny droplets on her eyelashes. "Every day here, but I'm afraid to say it out loud." "Then promise me one thing," she whispered. "No matter what happens, even if life takes us apart, we'll find our way back to each other someday." "I promise," he said, holding her gaze as the rain fell around them. A year later, life began testing that promise. Lily received an offer from a publishing house in London, her dream opportunity. Aiden was proud but terrified of losing her. They spent her last week together doing everything they loved, painting in parks, watching old films, visiting the coffee shop that started it all. The night before her flight, she handed him a small notebook. "Write me something whenever you miss me," she said. "One page for every memory." He smiled. "And when it's full, then I'll come back to read it." She left with that promise, her silhouette disappearing through the airport doors as Aiden stood still, clutching the notebook like it was the only piece of her he could hold. For a while, the distance wasn't unbearable. They talked every day, long calls, video chats, handwritten letters that took weeks to arrive. But as time went on, life got busier, and the calls grew shorter. Sometimes, weeks passed without a word. Aiden buried himself in his art, sketching her face over and over until the lines felt like muscle memory. Lily's career was rising fast, but so was the noise of her new world, deadlines, meetings, and pressure. She loved him, but somehow, love started losing to life. One evening, after months of waiting for her call, Aiden decided to send her a message. "Do you still think of me?" The reply didn't come that night, or the next, or the one after that. He didn't know that Lily had read it. She had stared at the screen for hours, tears falling, unable to form words. She was exhausted, overwhelmed, and afraid that if she answered, she'd only hurt him more. So she chose silence, thinking it was the kindest thing she could do. Aiden kept writing in the notebook she gave him. Every day, a new page. Not of joy, but of longing. He filled it with sketches of her smile, her handwriting, the coffee cup she used to hold with both hands. Each page whispered, "I miss you." By the time the notebook was full, 2 years had passed. It was another rainy afternoon when Lily returned. Her career had soared, but her heart hadn't healed. Every city, every book signing, every success felt incomplete without the boy who once made her believe in forever. When she entered the old coffee shop, her eyes searched instinctively for him. And there he was, sitting by the same window, sketching as always. For a moment, she just stood there, afraid it might not be real. Then, quietly, she walked over. "Still waiting for inspiration?" she asked, echoing her first words to him years ago. Aiden froze. Slowly, he looked up, and time seemed to stop. Her voice, her presence, even the faint scent of rain on her hair, it all came rushing back. I didn't think you'd come back, he sighed softly. I wasn't sure you'd still be here, she whispered. He smiled faintly. I promised, didn't I? They sat together for hours, talking about everything and nothing. It felt both strange and familiar, like returning to a home you never stopped belonging to. Finally, Lily noticed the old notebook on the table. Its pages weathered, you kept it. I filled it, Aiden replied, handing it to her. She opened the first page. Her own handwriting stared back. One page for every memory. As she turned the pages, tears fell silently. Sketch after sketch, word after word, every one a piece of her. At the very end, Aiden had written just one line. I kept my promise. Now it's your turn. Lily closed the notebook, her voice trembling. Do you still love me? He looked at her, his eyes steady. I never stopped. But love isn't enough if it's only one person holding on. She reached across the table and took his hand. Then let's hold it together this time. Aiden wanted to believe her, but fear lingered. What if it doesn't work again? She smiled softly. Then we'll try again and again until it does. Because some people are worth the effort. The rain outside grew heavier, tapping against the glass like music. Lily leaned her head on his shoulder. For the first time in years, the silence between them felt peaceful. Epilogue. The Promise Beneath the Rain. A year later, Lily's new book was released, a love story dedicated to the boy who waited in the rain. Its final line read, sometimes love doesn't need to begin again. It just needs to be remembered. At the launch event, as she stood on stage thanking everyone, she spotted Aiden in the crowd, smiling, proud, and holding that same notebook. After the event, they walked outside together. The city was drenched again, just like the day they met. Lily laughed softly. Seems like the rain never stopped following us. Aiden smiled. Maybe it's a reminder of promises kept. She looked at him, eyes glistening. Then let's promise again, not to find each other, but to never lose each other again. He nodded, pulling her close as the rain poured harder. Their laughter echoed through the night, and beneath the same storm that had once brought them together, two hearts finally found their forever. Because sometimes, love isn't about never drifting apart, it's about finding your way back, no matter how many storms it takes. If this story touched your heart and reminded you what true love means, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heartfelt stories. This is HeartTalk Stories, where every story speaks straight to your soul.